Hey, what's up, guys, and welcome to another episode of AO Mecha Live. My name is Ariel from from AO Mecha, and welcome to the show. Tonight we have a very special guest, one of the coolest mecha builder that I've seen in Instagram. He is also a fellow Canadian, hailing from Ontario, Canada. His name is Mike Skyers. You should see him on Instagram under the handle mskyers with two Z's. Link is on the description below. Anyways, why don't we welcome him to the show, and let's get started. So, Mike, what can you tell us about yourself, and welcome to the show.
Thanks again. I am a Gunpla builder. Hi, I'm Mike. I'm a Gunpla builder. I have a plastic robot addiction. I guess I started building early last year, and it's been a great hobby to get into. I'm glad to see that the technology has come so far since when I used to dabble with kits back in my high school days.
I know that you are very active in social media. A lot of your stuff I really dig, especially things like the Natchin competition. I know you entered or tried to enter that one. We're going to get to that story in a bit. I know that you've entered as well at BuildCon and a whole bunch of other online competitions. One thing also I read about you is that you work at Warframe. Can you tell us a bit about that?
So I've been at Digital Extremes, the creators of Warframe, for about 6 years now as a 3D character artist. I went to school back in high school. I realized I wanted to be into animation and games, so I went on that difficult road, and eventually found my way to Digital Extremes and moved from Toronto over here, London, Ontario, to work at the studio, and it's been great. It's a great place to work. They really respect the artists and our creative input, and I've been able to design my own stuff and pitch my own ideas and just work on a variety of really cool designs in 3D.
Awesome. On top of doing model kits and getting your work done, what else do you have? Any other hobbies that you do outside of the model kit making or the digital art realm?
I guess before Gunpla took over my life, I used to play a lot of video games.
Okay.
During lunch, back when the studio was still open, and still now, we used to play fighting games like Street Fighter or KOF.
Was that in the arcades, or was that?
No, at work. So during our lunch break, a few people around the studio would get together and we'd play different fighting games.
Nice.
Every time a new one comes out, we all check it out together. I think the last one I picked up was Grand Blue Fantasy Versus, mostly because I'm really bad at fighting games, for the record. But I love them because the character designs are so awesome.
Nice.
And I knew nothing about Grand Blue Fantasy, but the art was just so good I couldn't resist. Aside of video games, I dabble in some archery, which I need to go back out and do now that places are opening up again.
Nice.
Yeah.
I didn't know that about you. Archery, that's a very, very interesting hobby. How long you been doing that one?
I picked it up maybe 7 years ago when I was in Toronto. I just needed to get out and do something. And just behind the Science Center, there's an open range that people can go and shoot at. So I decided to get into that. And, I was a big fan of Hunger Games at the time. So, get my Katniss Everdeen on. And and then recently, a couple of years ago, some people at my studio got together and started an archery club. So that really got me back into it at a regular pace.
Yeah, well, it's good to have, hobby outside of the box. I mean, which is like our Gundam and all that stuff. Let's see here. I know that you've worked on a lot of many different kits. What I have on screen right now, it looks like the Impulse. What can you tell me about this Impulse? What are we looking at here?
So that was my first Gunpla build back in, I think, January of last year. My coworker Kaz, who's the one that got me addicted to the plastic crack. She had come back from a trip to Japan with the Zazubi Verka, and watching her build that just like blew my mind. And I'm like, okay, I need to see what's going on here now. So we went to a local hobby store, and I remember being a big fan of Seed, and I saw this one and I picked it up. It was like, I think about $20 or something like that, Canadian.
Yeah.
And I was instantly hooked.
Awesome. What got you hooked? Like which portion did you like? Did you like the building part? Did you like the potential of its creativity, as in like customization? Did you even think about that when you were building it?
I was impressed by the level of detail and the posability on this kit. It's an HG, and still like the detail on it was really good. I had personally no urge to add anything more to it. Not that I could at that time, but like I just thought it was really good. And I remember back in high school, like those old Gundam Wing kits, no grade ones, they were so derpy looking, and
just
I have them sitting in a box, like a graveyard box, and I looked at them the other day. I'm like, wow, this has really come really far.
So would you say that did Seed or Wing got you into understanding Gundam? Like, what was your first taste of the franchise?
I have to give Gundam Wing holds a special place in my heart. I haven't gone back and really watched it yet again, but back then, that's when I really became aware of anime, and that anime was a thing. Like I used to watch Dragon Ball and Sailor Moon and stuff. I just thought it was cartoons.
Oh,
but then when Gundam Wing came out, I'm like, this is different. There's something special going on here. So Gundam Wing has to be the one that really got me into Gundam and anime in general. And
did you end up looking at all the rest of the Gundam series, or did you just kind of stuck with Wing and then see like what are some of the series that you did?
Until I got back into Gunpla, the Gundams that I had watched were Gundam Wing and Gundam Seed and Seed Destiny. And then Seed Destiny was probably the last Gundam I watched, because like I think that would have came out before I went to college. In college, I didn't have TV, and I was really busy into my studies. Yeah. So I wasn't watching a lot of anime during that time. Yeah.
But you eventually like caught up with all the rest of the series, or like
I'm getting there. Right. I still have to go back and watch the original Gundam. I think after picking up the Impulse, I also started watching IBO.
Okay, cool.
And IBO is like one of my favorite Gundam series. I just love the designs. I love the gritty fights, like the bare knuckle fights.
Yeah, lots of melee, like almost no beam weapons kind of deal.
Yeah, I was shocked. I didn't even realize until season 2 when the mobile armor came out and shot a beam weapon that I'd never seen a beam weapon in this series.
Awesome. What we have on the screen next here is the Nightingale. It's an SD from the looks of it. Looks like you did some serious work taking it apart, and looks like some serious paint job on this. What are we looking at?
So with the Impulse, after watching a bunch of YouTube videos and reviews and stuff, there was like different techniques for doing bare plastic stuff. So I did some sponge chipping. I used some like weathering pastels and stuff, not pastels, powders. And then I was like, okay, my friend Kaz, she had her own airbrush setup and whatever, and I asked her if I could like learn on it. And people always say start with the SD if you want to like get your feet wet with painting stuff.
Yeah,
I chose the wrong SD. Like that, yeah. The picture, like there were so many parts.
Yeah, SDs is the perfect testing ground, because then you'll learn how to, I guess, fill in the holes, sand things down. Maybe it's big enough also to even start scribing, right?
So I did a little bit of that. I filled the bottom of the feet, because I knew I wanted to have it in a flying pose. I tried some scribing. There's a little bit of a extra little piece on the head that I did. And I made a ton of mistakes. I cracked, so whatever solvent I used on it, the plastic became brittle and the helmet cracked a bunch, and I was very frustrated. And then like the paint, I ran out of the color of paint that I was using and tried to use a substitute one, and it just didn't work. If you look real close at it, there are parts that are really embarrassing for me.
The thing is, like, only the artist could be really the worst critic, because you could nitpick everything. I mean, from what I saw, it was amazing. Lots of details, lots of color separation in regards to like the contrasting colors. So what did you learn the most? If you were to learn, if you're gonna pick something from this, what did you learn the most? Take away from it.
Make sure you have enough paint. I think that was definitely the thing that stressed me out the most, because I wanted to, like, the white was supposed to be is a pearlescent kind of white,
right?
Very like subtly, and I tried using some off brands because I was using spray cans, and then I ran out of the spray can. I'm like, the spray can is expensive. Let me see if I can find a cheap alternative.
Yeah.
And it just gave me way more work. I had to redo the head, sand it down a bunch of times in the front of the chest and different parts. It was a nightmare.
Oh wow!
But it was with this one. I'm like, okay, I'm making my mistakes now. I'll know better for the future, and I just kept soldiering on. I'm like, I got in my head a little bit about it. I got stuck on it for a long time because I wanted it to be perfect, as like I see on YouTube and everybody on Instagram how like amazing people's builds are. And I'm like, you know what? I'm learning. This is the first time I'm doing this. If it's not perfect, it's fine. Just do better on the next one.
Absolutely. And it looks like you did. So the next part here, it looks like I'm just cycling through a Grace custom. So you got more into the IBO from the looks of it.
Yeah.
So tell me about the Grace and what's going on here.
So went to the local hobby store. I'm like, what do I need next for my fix? I'm like, I was heavy into IBO, and I'm like, the grays are my favorite grunt suit. They're just so weird and interesting looking, and I love the thin waists, and they have heels. I have two weaknesses: anything that has a cool flight form, or has heels, like I want it. So yeah, the grays. I saw an artist on YouTube. He built a Grace to hold his stylus, his tablet pen, and he put a light in it. And I'm like, oh, that's so cool. Let me watch this video 100 times to figure out how to work with like tiny little LEDs and stuff. And so I put a light in its head, and I wanted to make it my own thing. This was really early, and I had all my old kits from high school, so I like took some bits and parts and stuck them on. So like this kind of skirt part is from a XX, old high grade 1/100 XX, and then the same with the Tall Geese 3 jetpacks. Stuck those on, cut some stuff up. There's some paw plating on it, and then I got a little overwhelmed because I'm like, I don't.
That's a lot of work. Yeah,
I did all this stuff, and I'm like, I got stuck. Yeah, so it's still waiting for me to come back to.
So you did not finish it. It's still an ongoing whip then.
Yeah, it's still an ongoing whip. I have a lot of ongoing whips.
Oh man, I think everybody in the show could relate with that. Particularly me as well. I'm working on a whole bunch of stuff. Let us know in the comments below what kind of whips you guys are in your pile. What's preventing you guys from proceeding? Are you waiting for an extra part? Are you waiting for a new design to kick in? Anyways, comment on that. Going to the next slide here. It looks like a double Z Gundam. So looks like an MG from the looks of it.
So this is my first MG.
Oh,
juicy! It kind of scarred me a little bit. I'm at the point, or at that time, I was at the point where I have to sand everything. Yeah, it's like compulsory now. And when I got this kit, there's so many parts. And I didn't build another MG for a long time after that.
That threw you off? Really? That one MG? Like, okay, what was your anticipation when you actually, opened it? Were you thinking like, oh, it's going to be another high grade with just more parts? Or what was going through your mind halfway building this thing?
I really like the double Zeta, and I want to build it. This model kit looks sick. So I didn't understand the Verka element of it, because the Verka takes it up to another level. And I just had moved into my own apartment. I had roommates before, and anyways, so I wanted to celebrate like having enough space to build an MG. And yeah, this thing, like the runners were all over the floor around me, just trying to get everything organized. And it's a great kit. It really is. But it was a lot of work, and I hadn't anticipated that.
Nice. All right.
Yeah.
We are going to get to the next portion of your adventure here, and it's going to become a little bit more serious. But first, we're going to take a real quick break and check this out. Hey guys, I just want to take this time to thank you guys for joining us tonight in our show. Really awesome to have you guys here and commenting during our live chat feeds. I'm looking forward to hearing more from you guys. Also, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to send me a PM in my social media platforms. You could reach me on Facebook at AOMecha, as well as Instagram at AO_Mecha. And if you have any interest in joining us for a feature, or if you have anyone that we want to recommend to check out and be featured in the show, please send me an email. And you can see that at the bottom right hand of my screen, aomecha.info@gmail.com. All right, thank you very much. And why don't we go back to the arena, check out what's going on there. And we're back. If you are just tuning in right now, we are joined by Mike Skyers. We are just talking about his adventure in Gunpla. Now that we have graduated kindergarten, we are now into the big boy playing ground here, and it looks like we are looking at Mecha kit.
Yep.
So what can you tell us about this adventure right here?
Oh yeah. So I watched a number of YouTubers and looked up. Like I'm always watching tutorials to learn, and Zach Aurelius is one of the people I follow. He's one of the big Gunpla guys.
Yeah.
And he had a contest running. Oh yeah, this one. A contest running with Lincoln Wright, who is famously known for paint on plastic and doing a lot of working on Maschinen Krieger kits as a professional. And they partnered up a while ago, I think sometime last year, to do like a Gundam X Maschinen Krieger kind of mashup.
Yep.
And I wanted to enter that, and but didn't, and saw how cool it was. So I wanted to venture into the Mecha line because Lincoln Wright himself was hosting an Mecha contest. So I got a kit, which was really hard to find.
They are,
and at the time, and yeah, it was really cool, refreshing experience. Like I think with Gundam, I have a lot of I don't want to use anxiety, but for lack of a better word, anxiety, because a lot of builds, a lot of the really popular builds are super clean and like there's no weathering on them. And so this one was fun because it was like, it's gonna be Mecha style is a lot more weathered. They have a lot more story about
it's gritty.
Like,
there's
story.
Like a lot of like nice details that you could add on to that. And from the looks of it also, Skyers, here that you are using a lot of hand painting.
Yes. Yeah, this one. Yeah, so with the style that Lincoln Wright uses for most of his builds, he hand paints a lot of stuff. And I really liked this approach because it felt a little bit more artistic in nature. And, you know, you kind of like get all your happy little accidents in there and kind of stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it was really refreshing to work on this kit. It was also really scary because it was the first time I was ever gluing a kit together. It's the first time I ever put like putty all over the model to give it texture.
Yeah. And
doing a lot of things. And I made some mistakes, but you know, thankfully I was able to hide them or get creative.
And that's usually the case, right? You learn from all your trials and errors, but also it's like the perfect proving ground to show how far your creative outlet and capacity can be. I'm looking now at an image of, it looks like figures now. You're looking at miniature figures detailing on this. It turned out really well. Like, is that your first time doing figure painting, or have you always done figure painting?
It was my first time. Everything on this kit was my first time doing anything, all of this stuff. Yeah, I'm a big fan of dioramas. And for that contest, so I was doing this project for the two contests, for Lincoln Wright's contest, and for BuildCon that was coming up right after that. And I wanted to create a diorama. Like, as a big anime fan, like I love the stories and the world and the people in them. So I wanted to kind of recreate a scene.
And what's the scene that I'm looking at here? Like, are they just in a hangar? Are they ready to like gear out? Like, what was the story you wanted to convey for it?
These are a bunch of what was my story again for this? So it was a bunch of female mechanics, and called the Medusa Repair Squad. And
Nice. That's awesome.
I had very lofty goals. I was gonna like get my friend to 3D paint me a pilot for a custom pilot and all that stuff, but kind of reduced it down to something manageable because I get very ahead of myself sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's just basically these three mechanics huddled around talking about the mech, their prize mech. They're kind of like a private military group.
Nice.
And yeah, there was one picture where, like, again, my first time painting, so I tried Warhammer, right? I'm like, oh, people use acrylics and Warhammer stuff to paint figures, so let me try that. And there was this thing called the shade, and I did like a full wash over my finished paint job to kind of be like, get in all the recesses and stuff, and it dried thick and ruined.
Yeah, it
everything.
is. Like if you don't thin it down, it's gonna be like almost a extra layer of skin there. With all this effort that I'm seeing put into this project, this has to be for something. Where was this going? This can't be just your display. It looks like there's a lot of love showing here. Is this for a competition? Is this for an event? What can you tell us about it?
So a company called New Type HQ decided to have a mecha modeling, specifically for mecha modeling convention, because usually a lot of build competitions or Gunpla competitions are tacked onto an anime expo or something like that. So they just wanted one that was focused on model kit building. And when I saw it, it was in the States, and their criteria said only U.S. residents. So I shot them a message on Facebook, and I was like, "What is there a specific reason?" And they're like, "No, there isn't a specific reason why people from Canada can't enter." And so they changed the rule, and I was like, "Oh shit, I gotta really bring it now, right?" So
were you the only Canadian that went, or
my coworker Kaz, the one that got me into the hobby, she also entered because they allowed 3D printed models into the contest too, and she was really big on 3D printing.
Oh man, wait a minute. Your friend Kaz, is it K-A-S?
Zed.
Oh, Zed.
K-A-Z, yeah.
Did she enter Anime North?
Yes.
Did she do the Sazabi?
That's the Sazabi that got me into this hobby.
What? No.
And I actually told her to go enter Anime North
oh
too,
my
so
god.
I'm happy about that.
Wow. Oh man, like you have no idea. You got to tell her this later on, that a lot of us after the competition, especially with the community, big buzz on like the work that was done on that, and that's just amazing. Like the detail, the effort, and the presence of that kit was really good. I could see now why you are inspired by that.
Mm-hmm. I actually, for this, so she was working on she made her own design and 3D printed it and painted it and everything. Nice. And I got to a point, I got really stressed out, and I was like, I was about to quit. And then seeing her work on her thing, I'm like, no, I gotta keep going. We gotta, represent for Canada at this thing. And
yeah, no, and you guys, it looks like you did, because I just went to the next image here, and it has some kind of medal. What's going on there, man? What can you tell me about this?
Yeah, so I went into the contest. I just wanted people to think what I made was cool. It's my first time going to a physical contest, and I was like, I could see all the problems with my kit.
Yeah.
And I was just like, you know what? Maybe they had a category for best non-Gunpla kit. I'm like, I think I could get that one. And then during the awards, that prize went to somebody else. I'm like, okay. But like a lot of people came up to me and said it was cool. So I'm like, that's great. I got what I wanted. And then Kaz, she actually got third place. And I was like, cool. So we were taking home some trophy. Nice. And then they got to first and like said the name of my kit, and I was shaking. I was like, what? You're kidding me? For real?
What was going through your head? Like what were the things? Like describe like when the first hit you, what was the feeling?
I couldn't believe it. I was like, really? There's some other really badass shit here. Like and I was shaking. I couldn't believe it. The prize was a trip to Japan, so I was like, Did
you go? Did you actually?
I haven't been able to go because COVID.
Oh no!
So they reached out to me, and we kind of came to an agreement about how it's going to work.
Okay.
And it's basically I don't know if I should get into it.
No details at all. A lot of that is NDA. We totally agree on that one. But congratulations on that
when
win.
I'm ready to go,
yeah.
I can go. Well, when the virus
when the
takes
world
a
is
break
ready
and
to
says
go.
it's okay. Yeah.
Okay, let's move on. So congratulations on that win, and it looks like you are still venturing out of the Gunpla. So a lot of this is mecha, fantastic. That is what I like to see, the diversity of that. Like you're not limited to just Gunpla, even though Gunpla and Gundam holds a special place in all of our hearts. The image I'm looking at here now, it looks like is from the Strelitzia, from the Darling in the Franxx series. And what can you tell us about this project?
I am a huge Gainax fan and now Trigger fan. And, I kept seeing this design. I haven't watched the anime. I watched stuff about the anime. I'm like, okay, I get it.
Darling in the Franxx, you've not seen it yet.
I've seen enough of it to know what it's about, and I'm good.
Are you sure? Like man, we got to talk more after this show. I'll tell you more about Darling in the Franxx. Man.
Oh, I've seen. It's you know what? My side note, like I was a big fan of Trigger and Gainax. My favorite anime of all time is Gurren Lagann.
Oh, yeah.
So I see a lot of that show in Darling in the Franxx, and I'm like, okay. And I have a lot of Gundam to get caught up on right now. So so for this build, there was the hosts or the MCs at BuildCon wanted to do like a end of the decade build during the holidays, and I was like, that sounds awesome. And I just got this kit in and just really loved the design, and I saw Zach Aurelius do his custom paint job. I'm like, okay, let me figure out what I want to do. I wanted to experiment with like metal coats or like shiny metallic coats. So,
yeah, from the looks of it here, I'm just going to switch back to spoon test. There's several spoon testing here. Can you tell us about the materials you used and the paints you used?
So most of it is Mr. Color. That's what's available to me here without having to get stuff shipped. And yeah, there's like different kinds. There's like gold leaf, gold this, gold that, and I wanted the white to be pearlescent. So there's like different kinds. There's like a moonstone pearl, and all these kind of things. And so I had to test to see which ones really gave me the look that I wanted.
Right. Yeah.
And there's some like coppers and what is that? That's the really light pink one is the one I went with.
The golds on these guys, did it say actually gold? Was it brass? Like what were the tones on that one?
There is a copper. The three on the bottom are all gold.
Okay.
Some of them are Mr. Super Metallic and then Mr. Super Metallic 2 or Extra Super, I forget the name. And then, so there's gold and coppers at the top.
It looks great. Yeah, like I'm now flipping through the rest of the shots here. Now we have a glam shot. It's on a stand now for the Strelitzia, and wow, this is amazing. Like, what was your impressions after you completed it?
Bandai really makes some good kits, and you only really realize that when you try to build other company kits. This I had some problems with stuff falling out, some stuff being way too tight, a lot of fragile parts. But I mean, the design is just great, and nobody else made it. So
yeah, I think it's a limited run now. I don't even know if they're gonna restock anytime soon. That's been sold out. It's been on my want list. I didn't get a chance to jump on that wagon in time. Next slide here, Skyers. We have what looks like a group build. There's like a whole bunch of bear guys. I see a 00 guy at the background. Like, what's going on with this picture here?
So, like any good Gunpla builder, you want to spread the addiction to other people. So I got some work people together and my girlfriend, and I was like, I wanted to host an event at my new apartment, and because I have a lot of space now, and I bugged a couple people, and I was like, oh, what's your I was like, help them pick out a kit for themselves and stuff. And like gave them some random questions to answer, like, do you like circles or squares? What's your favorite color and stuff like that? To try and like narrow down a Gundam kit for them.
So each
And,
one of these are from each kit is from a friend of yours, or did someone build
yes.
multiple?
Each kit is a different person.
Okay.
And all of them except for the core Gundam, which I built, and the Neo Zong in the back, was their first time building a model kit.
Oh wow.
And then one of the guys, he works on Warhammer, so he was just working on Warhammer stuff. But it's all good.
Nice.
Yeah, and it was great. Some of them were like, "Oh, I want to do this again." The person that built the yellow bear guy bought another bear guy that's like the angel one.
Oh yeah.
She's like, "These are so cool." And it was just really awesome to see people build their first kit and like see how intricate and like how they're posable and all that kind of stuff. They were like really blown away.
Absolutely. All right, moving on to the next one. I think a lot of the fans love this part of what we're about to talk about. This is the Natchin. This is the contest that Zacharias hosted alongside USA Gundam Store. Speaking of USA Gundam Store, this show is actually powered by USA Gundam Store. Visit them at www.usagundamstore.com. Use the code AOMECHA10 and receive some discount on your purchases. All right, Natchin. Let's talk Natchin. Where did you hear? Like, where were you? What were you doing when you first heard Natchin, and then contest, and then what got you to start doing your project?
I'm a subscriber of Zacharias, who hosted the contest, and he did the review of it a while back, way before the contest, and I was like, this is such a cute little robot design, and it's really cheap. Like, I was trying to get some people at my studio to buy them, and we all like do a group build, but people were all busy with other tasks. So
right.
When this contest popped up, I'm like, I'm on this. This is such a cool thing. And then seeing all the Japanese builders do like their own custom builds, I'm like, this thing is super versatile. Right on.
Yeah. It looks like you went for a 4-wheel looking Lancer Knight Natchin here. Like, what were your concepts? What were your inspirations when you were doing your Natchin?
It took me a while. It took me 3 weeks to really decide on something, because there's so many people and so many different ways to go with it, and I wanted to find something that was really unique to me and what I like. And I was leaning towards like a jet style one, but I couldn't come up with something that felt really right. And then
it's because of the shape, right? Like, it's a very boxy kit, and like yourself, I too enjoy the flight types, and it took me a while to even try to think of like how it's gonna be agile enough for that.
So yeah, I was looking through. I do a lot of. I think reference is super important for any artist.
Right.
And I use a website called ArtStation, and I have a number of Mecha concept artists that are on there. And I was looking through, and this one really popular used to work for Ubisoft, Nivan. He does really awesome like modern mechs, and he had this one that was driving this 4-wheeled like car,
right?
Off-road car, and I'm like, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make that thing.
What were the parts that you were like? Where did you get your parts from to create this? Because like I can't recognize some of these things, which is really cool. The only thing I could probably recognize there, not even. I'm zooming in. Is that a Grace shield? Is that?
It's a Grace thruster. Thruster thing. Yeah. A lot of kits actually. So the legs are Maganak arms.
Oh, okay, I can see that now. Yeah.
I really like the joints. Like, I wanted something that felt really like circular and round for like a race, like a speed car thing. And so the legs are all Maganak. The first part of it is a Maganak joint. The wheel, I guess, frame is a Graze leg joint.
Right.
And then I got some Hot Wheel cars and cut the tires off.
See right there, creativity, cross-platform, use whatever material. That's a spirit of an artist right here. Speaking of spirit of artists, I do notice that there is some electronics inside, what looks like some LED work. Is this something that a continuation from your Grace project
Yeah.
earlier.
Yeah. Yeah, I really like LEDs and kits, and I always want to try to find a way. I like it when people find a way to hide the battery
Yeah.
and or like make it more plausible. So I managed to be able to like fit it inside the Nachin by cutting a few things and like really getting it in there. And I wanted to be able to move the eye, so I got like a little brass rod, cut a piece of runner, drilled a hole through it, and so I can manually slide it around for whatever picture I want to do.
Nice. We have a shot now of your finished piece here. Looks amazing. When selecting a color, what was your scheme like? Where were you driving your colors from?
I had 3 different color schemes in mind, and it's also, again, from like looking at Mecha concept artists. I'm a big fan of blue, I'm a big fan of orange, and I eventually found one that was like a concept of jet fighters, believe it or not, like spaceships, that were in these colors, and it's like a cherry red, cherry red, and like a muted blue, dark red. Blue.
Looks great.
And then the white decals just to add that third color into there.
Yeah, mine was also a blue color, and the white on blue just gives it that nice pop color. Mm-hmm. And from the looks of it, your accent color, it's just the right amount. Really digging this piece, and this is like probably one of the first kits that I saw on your Instagram, and that's exactly how we kind of met. Like I saw your Nachin, we started talking about our Nachin in a way, and then we just kind of like continued following each other in that regards. Now it looks like you're. Wait, let's go back to the Nachin. I don't remember seeing this in the finale. What happened? What happened here? I saw all of them. All right, we were waiting.
I tried really hard. One of the pictures, like I was getting really stressed out. There was a lot of stuff going on earlier this year, especially with like. When was the end? This was in mid-March, right?
Mid-March, yeah. Just as COVID was about to lockdown.
There's a lot of stuff with work coming in and changes happening at work. And I, just other things in life kind of became more of a priority. And I was trying to do another contest. I realized I need to just do one contest at a time.
Right.
That one never got finished. It's sitting in a box. It needs some masking, and I was like,
oh man,
at the time. But yeah, I submitted the picture of it kind of half sanded, half primed, shooting a claw. Like I'm like, I gotta put something in, I think my concept is really cool, so I submitted that and like reached out to Zach and was like, I tried my best and this is what I have. Could you please it's in the YouTube video, but not in the Facebook gallery.
Right. Yeah. And that's what it struck me because like when I was going through your Instagram and I was like, obviously getting my AO Mecha up and running, I ran into yours because I actually purposely searched out Nachin as the hashtag, and then yours had this one, and that's how I found out about it.
Yeah. And I'm glad in the end that I took my time. Took the extra time because I was good. I was considering not doing the claw, not putting the LED in, and blah blah blah. So I'm happy that I took the time to finish it the way I wanted to finish it.
And that is inspiration for everyone that's watching right there. Finish your work. The payout is good in the end, and it won't haunt you later on going what if? Oh, I could have done that instead of you know what? I did it. It's finished. Might have been late. But again, this is not a race, guys. If you're enjoying your art and hobby, go with it and hopefully finish your projects. Reward is, you let me know, Skyers. Was it worth it finishing it?
It was very much worth it.
Awesome.
And fun fact, I see a lot of people mentioning the tachikomas from Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah.
I didn't even think of that until one of my coworkers was like, "Oh my god, it's like a little version of a tachikoma." I was like, "What?" And then I looked it up. I'm like, "Oh my god, I got Incepted."
It's the 4 wheels, yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, I wish I had thought of it in the beginning because it would have helped me with a lot of design work in the beginning to reference from that.
Yeah.
But shout out to Ghost in the Shell.
Nice. Speaking of shout out, I've been proceeding on with some of your clips here and going through what looks like the Jesta. Is this your current project right now?
Yeah, I'm back at it with the MG.
There we go. Welcome back to the Gunpla.
Yeah, I mean, I built some other MGs. I built the Origin Granddaddy and actually, yeah, and some other ones.
Yeah.
Alongside this guy, but this one it kicked my ass again. MGs, I really have to. Now I've developed strategies for tackling them with like the time that I have.
Yeah.
This one I didn't. I was like, I want to spray it, do a coat on all the inner frame and stuff. So, all the little inner frame pieces.
Yeah.
I think I give a picture of that. That took me so long to prime and paint, and I was like, oh my God, there has to be a better way. So I did some research, and I'm like, okay, the next time I try to paint an MG, I'll tackle it from a different angle. But yeah, it's really cool. Jesta is another one of my favorite grunt suits.
I built the MG as well, and I was blown away by the amount of details, the overall design. The details is one thing, but like the overall design presence of it, amazing. And also, speaking of challenges, and you're challenging yourself, I see a set of what looks like weapons and pieces that are thoroughly masked. What's going on here? Like I remember seeing this at Side 6, and I'm like, oh, there goes Homeboy again, taping all that shit. So, what's going on here? What's your plan here?
So, I wanted to make the weapons look cool. Like I bought the Jesta that I got was the P Bandai narrative version, which it comes with all the cool weapons, and I'm like, I can't just leave them. Like that's the main. I wanted the big gun, and I'm like, I can't just paint it all gray. And the thing is, like the big cannon has a seam line all the way around it.
Yep.
And I'm trying to become more patient at fixing seam lines because it really does improve the look of things. And I was like, oh no, but now I have to, everything's connected together permanently.
Yeah.
So I have to find a way to mask it. And it took me maybe 3 sessions to get all the masking done. And from my other earlier adventures, I'm like, I have to take my time to do it right.
Don't rush
I can't rush through this. If I'm tired, take a break, come back at it, because this was the first time I took the tape off and I wasn't depressed. So all the lines look clean and everything, and I was pretty happy.
Nice. We are looking at the image now from what looks like it's the complete post taping. Now it's just painted already with the colors. You're going for like a two-tone color.
Two-tone gray, yeah. So everything was crisp. Like I found the strategy, you put the tape on your pants or whatever, and then you put it on and use like a bamboo stick to get it in the creases. And then I take a really sharp X-Acto blade to like cut it out of the grooves. And it gave me those really crisp lines. And this was the most successful unmasking I've had yet.
And hopefully not the last. We're looking at what looks like your tools choice.
Is it the one with the 8 and the little witch?
That's right. Yeah.
So that's how I used to work. I had a very small apartment, a small room in a townhouse with some other roommates, and I used to just build on this little table on my bed, and then you can see my cat there just lying on me. So that's how I started out. I had some old art paint brushes. I had a file that I got at the dollar store, an X-Acto blade that I got from the dollar store, and just stuff like that.
The next slide here looks like your workstation. This is your home setup right now?
So that's my setup in my new apartment. I was looking because I know I wanted to airbrush. Rattle cans get really expensive. So I needed to find a place where I could have a room that has a window so I can vent. And I wanted a space just for my hobby, so like I could leave. Like right now you can see that's the Jesta parts there. I can just leave them, walk away, come back, they'd be there. I don't have to like pack everything up all the time. So now I have the space and I'm slowly shaping it to do what I need.
Yeah.
I want to get another desk in there, just so I can have like a photo sesh area or like a work in progress area and then like a snap building area.
Get your station set up kind of deal for like multiple purposes. Awesome.
Yeah.
We're just cycling through the rest of your collections here, and it looks like you have a lot of various figures and model kits and mecha. Now let me ask you something there. I'm going to ask you on this one. What is your favorite out of your collection that you would say is like your most proudest of? Like, what is the most sentimental value on this?
Okay, so I have to say it's the Nightingale, the little cross silhouette Nightingale.
Okay.
I really learned a lot. It was like the first time I did a lot of stuff, like painting, using an airbrush, working with water slide decals, making all the mistakes. So when I look at it, and I look at it from like your average viewing distance, and I'm like, you know what, this looks pretty bomb. Like, I know there's like all this like under the hood stuff that's really embarrassing, but from behind the glass, this thing looks really good. And for like my first attempt, I feel like it was a good one.
Nice. Yeah, it's always the first ones that like leave you the most lasting memories. So that is awesome. Again, I'm just cycling through the rest of it. So you have a quite diverse collection here. Lots of HGs, lots of Gundam, but it's also a mix of grunty units. And then we have a couple of shots coming up here. Now, this is like, I guess, your outdoor shots. We have the Grace Ritter up first.
Oh my god.
So what's the inspiration of this photo here? What's going on here?
Is it the one on the bridge or the one on the...
This is still on the stand.
Okay, so the Grace Ritter is my favorite mobile suit.
Nice.
Out of all the series. It's unfortunate that the character that pilots it is kind of dumb and didn't do much. I mean, she did get one kill of a main character, so give her that at least. But yeah, I think so this is pretty much straight build. The plastic, the only parts that I painted are the red, because that's at the time where I'm like, I don't want to use stickers if I don't have to. So I had a hand brush primer that I painted on for like 4 coats to make sure it was clean, and painted on the red very carefully so that it wasn't too textured, and put water slide decals and did all the panel lining and everything. And the sword comes just as a like black plastic, so I did a little bit of masking and rattle cans to get the gold and silver on there. And then for one of Zacharellis' photo contest, which is the next picture.
Yeah, this is the outdoor bridge one.
Yeah, I was like, oh yeah, I'm getting all these cool shots of this kit. I was super proud. And then a nice good gust of wind came and blew it off the edge of the bridge.
No. Did you get it back?
No, it's gone.
Oh my god!
It was a very high, very, very high bridge.
Oh no!
And the sad part is that it hit the side of the bridge. And then if anybody's built a IBO kit, we know that the connection to the waist is really loose. So the top half, which was holding the little figure that I customized too, fell into the river, and I was just left with the legs. And but I got the picture.
You did, and that is a beautiful shot. And it looks like there's a series of photos here. Just flipping to the next one, it looks like your first build Impulse is like doing some kind of very dramatic, looking away from the sunset kind of walk here.
That's the photo I ended up submitting for the contest, for Zacharellis' photo contest.
Nice.
Yeah.
The next one here looks like the Leo high grade. So you did several of these shots for that contest, and these are all from that batch, right?
It was really fun to go outside, and like, it was a little embarrassing when people walked by. I'm like outside taking pictures of little model kits, but it was a lot of fun to try and like play with the scale of things and like try to create the visually interesting shots.
So I want to add a quick story on that. Taking photos of your kits outside. Back when I was in college, me and my friends would always go out drinking on Friday night, Saturday night, because we were young, and this is just a college thing to do. I brought along my Mark II Master Grade 2.0 with us, and we would get him to drink with us, pretty much. So I have like a series of photos of my Mark II, like ordering from the waiters, and getting his drink, and doing like this almost stop motion sequence photography. Yeah, if I find that, I will post it, guys. It's just I believe it's in my Photo Bucket account, and no one knows what Photo Buckets is. So
Does it still exist?
Oh yeah, surprisingly
Oh
it
my God.
does. Yeah, I'm gonna try to find that so that you know what. Also, Skyers, don't feel bad about taking your kid outside and taking photos, man. Are doing art, and it's very commendable.
Exactly. It's you know what? You know, if famous Japanese modelers can go outside and take pictures of their kids, why can't I?
Right. The next photos here was the bear guy. It looks very cute. It looks like almost like a toy box kind of feel.
As a Mother's Day gift.
Oh wow.
I was like, you know, I've graduated, you know, making the little clay pot or mug that says like #1 mom on it to now making model kits and pinning them up.
Nice. No, it turned out really well here. I hope your mom loved it.
Mm-hmm.
The next one here looks like a very, very poster quality shot of what looks like the TR6 woodwork?
TR6 Hazel 2.
Hazel 2.
Technically,
oh
yes.
my god. Like, don't get me started with the age of, the AOZ stuff, just because like the naming convention.
It's so bizarre.
It is.
But I think the thing to remember is that it's the TR dash whatever number, that's the like unit. And then whatever the
attachment
extra
parts.
is like attachment parts, yeah. Or like specs or whatever. It's confusing, but I love AOZ designs.
Yeah.
And it sucks that it's a lot of P Bandai, so my wallet is hurting. But I built at this point like 3 different kinds of TR, like Hazel Woundwort, and I built a good plant, but that good plant was like, that's a regular run. So
so that's the green plant, right?
It's Titan's color.
The TR5. Yeah. Okay, got it.
Yeah, TR5. Yeah.
Nice. I have a Raw coming in, Raw 2 actually. I'm looking forward to building that. But yes, I do agree. P Bandai will drain your wallet dry, pretty much.
This one was an instant. Like when I saw the flight form, I'm like instant buy.
Yeah. Oh man, it was great. So this is just the one with the it was the white one. I'm assuming for this guy. It's not the double.
No, this is the double one.
This is the double barrel one. Nice color scheme on that, by the way. Just the like very dark and really high contrast accent colors.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, this little girl figure 144 is, I think it's really important to put people in for scale.
Absolutely.
When you're taking pictures, because it just makes them feel that like the size they're supposed to be. Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely captured a nice foreground here. The background slightly blurred, very dramatic effect here. Really nicely done. The next photo I have here looks like the God and Noble. So that's just kind of like a pair. Is there any special story behind this?
Just a shout out to G Gundam. I know a lot of people shit on it, but like some of the designs are really awesome.
Yeah.
I bought the high resolution, like last year. My dream kits to come out in like master grade 1/100 side were the Barbatos or the God Gundam, and I got them both. So nice. I was just over the moon. I bought the God Gundam for my birthday. And it's going to be a long work in progress, but I'm planning to make a 1/100 Nobel.
Oh, that's a challenge.
Yeah, I recently decided that I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it in 3D and work with Kaz to get it 3D printed. So that's going to be like a little long-term goal, but there needs to be a 1/100 Nobel.
Oh yeah, no doubt. And I hope you beat it before Bandai releases their P Bandai ultra rare Noble Gundam in master grade.
They got to get through all their the wing. They got to do all the wing Verkaz before they get to anything new.
Right. The next one here is the Barbados. This is the master grade, or is it the full?
That's the master grade. Yeah.
Okay.
I went out to a protest and I was stuck inside, like self-isolating for a while.
Right.
And I really wanted to try out the like Naoki style
outdoor
photo
shot
challenge. Yeah. So I went up to one of my windows and got on my knees to like get enough sky in the back and to try it out just to see how it is. And because the light was behind it, it got silhouetted.
Darker silhouette. Well, go on.
Yeah, and the base that it's on is a little diorama that I'm working on. But yeah, I showed it to my coworkers. I'm like, I tried it. Maybe when I can go outside, I'll do a better one. They're like, no, dude, this is pretty awesome. So I decided to share it around.
Yeah, it's a solid photo you got here. Definitely really dramatic. I'm just looking at some of the details of the rock. I thought it was actual rock, and now you're telling me that this is a diorama. Wow.
Hmm.
Awesome stuff. The next image here is the woodwort. This one is actually the gnocchi, more the gnocchi photo style where it's reaching out to the sky. I'm assuming you're holding the leg or some kind of base underneath that.
Yeah, it's on an action base. Actually, I started taking it with the action base. I'm like, the legs aren't going to be in it, so I might as well just hold it from its leg. So yeah, and this one I actually got to go outside and take it. So
Got the real sky going. It turned out really well. I hope to see some of you guys that are doing this this challenge to post your stuff as well.
This is an unpainted kit, so like it and it still looks bomb. So yeah, go outside, hold your gunpla up to the sky, and take a picture.
The next couple of part here, some stuff. I didn't get a chance to show the Side 6, I guess, promo because when we were doing a troubleshooting, that actual slide vanished. So that will have to be recreated in a later time. But as you know, Side 6 is a mecha modeling club that we are part of. You can check us out at facebook.com/groups/Side6. You can check out our Instagram as well, side6_mecha, and our website at www.side6.club for more up-to-date news and blogs. We also have memberships available with our sponsors. Okay, so a couple of questions here for you, Skyers. I'm just going through some of the social media stuff. What is your favorite non-Gundam franchise? Why don't we hit you with that first?
Gurren Lagann.
Gurren Lagann,
hands down. It's a big inspiration to me, and man, is it hard to find a model kit of it. There's one coming out though. USA Gundam Store is actually the only place that I've been able to find it at.
Wow.
It's supposed to come out in August, but with everything, who knows?
Absolutely.
But yeah, I'm like, oh my god. And it's tough because I got into the hobby only last year, so a lot of the stuff that I want is out of print and then costs a lot of money.
Yep.
So like this mega size over here was a hell of a thing to find for a fair price, a reasonably fair price.
Oh man, like it's such a really interesting show, and I didn't get a chance to finish it. I was probably at least halfway on that, but like it took a bit. It's a different. Yes, absolutely. It was a different take on mecha concept, which I do get. Do you see yourself even trying to attempt scratch building the mecha from that series?
No. I have a lot more to learn in terms of scratch building. But yeah, there's the kit version coming out. It's not a 1/100 size. It's more of an HG size.
Yeah,
but
like a mini.
I'll take it. The design is the way they modernize the design is really awesome too. So.
I know. I saw some of the previews on that, and with the fully paint job, I just imagine what the possibilities are with those finishes. Next one here is what is your wish for the next MG? I know you're just starting to get the MG, but if you were to get an MG of your liking, of your choosing, what would it be?
I feel like they're gonna get to it eventually, but full city or Gushan remake full city in MG would be dope.
Nice, yeah.
But fingers crossed they'll get to it. They're working on some IBO stuff. I would love. And this one's a shout out to Kaz. We need an MG Hygog.
Oh.
And we needed it
a
long time ago. Hygog design is just so unique and gorgeous.
Yeah.
And the fact that it hasn't been shown any love recently breaks my heart.
There's a lot of that, experimental types as well. Would love to get my hands on some kind of even high grade or MG version of that one. Very organic look, so that is awesome. And let's talk about the hobby itself. Where do you see our hobby going? What kind of route do you see our communities and hobbies going to be going through in the next coming future?
You know what? That's a hard question, but I feel like people are able to level up real fast these days. There's so many good tutorials out there, especially popping up around now. I've seen someone like Studio G is a big inspiration to me right now. he started getting into the hobby at the beginning of this year, and his skills are exploding.
Nice.
Build after build, and he does these really great videos, which inspired me now to try and do videos. And there's just lots of people are really have the ability to get better. The tools are available, the base kits are amazing. And I feel it's really great. I'm happy to see also like the Canadian community like getting up there and getting in the spotlight, like Nicholas there in the chat. Like I was so happy to see his kit represent Canada, and I was like, damn, man. Yeah. And I've seen a whole bunch of other great Canadian builders, so I'm looking forward to the Great Canadian Build-Off Part 2.
That's right. And I was just about to talk to you guys about that. Great Canadian Build-Off Part 2 is now live. Find it at Facebook. Just search up the Great Canadian Build-Off. We have 2 categories, an out-of-box category and a custom category. Both of them are in open, so any scale applies to both. There are 3 extra themes. One theme specifically for the out-of-box would just be like a summer photo glam shot, so something similar to the Woodward picture right now that we have here, but obviously with your summer spin on it. The other one is, I think this one is something might be on yours because it's a G Gundam reference. The Mobile Fighter theme, the Lumber Gundam is officially being retired, and we need the next Canadian Mobile Fighter ready. So that's a challenge. And the other one for the themes for the custom category is the MSV mobile suit variant. So that, again, lots of customization, lots of potential possibilities. Please check us out on Facebook. Link will be in the description below as well.
All right. Give you guys a shout out. Those are some great categories. And like, I want to do them all, but I decided on the MSV because I have some kits in my backlog that are hitting the year-old mark. One of them specifically is the one that I'm doing for the contest is the Serpent Custom. The old 1/100 high grade, which is such a weird thing to say.
Oh man, there's a lot of seam lines on that, and I used it with a graze mix. So I used the graze inner frame, and then I put the serpent parts on that. So you're gonna have fun, and you're gonna have a good challenge with it. I promise you that, man.
I picked it up and told myself, I'm going to put a Gundam frame from IBO in it and like spruce it up. And I was like, I'm not good enough for that yet. So, but now I have no excuse. Like I just got to go for it.
All right, right on. Hopefully we'll see you at the part 2. Are you entering? Are you planning on entering?
I submitted my entry yesterday.
Oh, nice.
Number 53, I think.
We're at 53, guys. Can you believe that? Number 53 right now. We're probably more than that by this time, and it's just been a week. That's crazy numbers. That's more than the event 1 accumulated throughout the duration of the RSVP. So I mean, in the short span of time. So thank you guys for the support on that one. Let's see here. Just continuing on with some of the questions. This one is a big one, and I want to ask this to every person that I will be putting on the show. Is as yourself being new to it, there's also other people that are getting into it, and from the looks of it, you kind of have already began that whole teaching about the mecha modeling, about Gunpla, the tools, and whatnot. What advice would you be able to share with people that are just starting out? Try to get into it. Basically, they have no idea what they're getting into. Like, how would you guide them? What are your advices for them?
First, I guess the first thing I'd say is do your research. There's so much selection, so many different kinds of things. Simple search on YouTube. There are many great YouTubers with like beginning how-to videos and stuff like that. That is definitely the first one, because you don't want to spend $300 on a kit and hate it, right? Or however much money. Even I know Canadian prices here sometimes are kind of crazy and can be into like $30-$40 for a high grade, and it's like you really should like go into it with a little bit of be an educated consumer. On top of that, other advice would be just go for it. At the same time, for me, I get in my head a lot. I'll tell myself, oh, I'm not good enough to build this yet. When I get better. Even scratch building, I think I gave up on that 100 grays you showed earlier because I was too much in my head about, I had to be perfect. There are a lot of amazing builders out there, but they all started somewhere, right? And the thing to remember is like, make the mistakes you need to make, because you need to make mistakes to learn, and then do the next one better, and the next one better, and so on and so forth.
Right.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you for that. I'm just going to go through our chat here. Very lively tonight. And I'm just going to go through, see the people that have joined the show here. Hey, what's up to Miguel, Andrew, Josh, Quinn. Let's see here. Lots of activities here. We also got Ron. Chandra's watching. Hey, Chan. Oh man, lots of people tonight. Lots of activities. I'm just trying to look to see if there's any questions that pop out here. Dean, how's it going? Come on, guys, give me something here. A lot of it is like, wow, wow, wow. Look at all this guy's work. All right, I can't wait to read all of this after the show as well, because like it looks like popping tonight. Here we got Ryan Lau as well joining. Derek from the Prairies joining. Lots of stuff here. Lots of support. And Nico. What's up, Nico and Keone? I finally got to pronounce his name properly. He was at the Side 6 club meeting earlier on, and very good guys. Lots of support from Side 6 and friends watching their feature right now. This is great. Speaking of which, this is for people who want to find you. Like, where would they find you the most? Like, what social media are you most active on?
I'm most active on Instagram. You can see my handle right there. I'm a Double Zeta fan, so we gotta put some two Zs.
That's it.
I'm gonna be changing it soon. I want to have like a Mecha modeler handle.
Hey, AO Mecha's taken already, buddy. Sorry.
yeah. I have it in my head. I have it. I'm just working on like another thing I'm trying to work on too is like my own little sticker. I love how a lot of builders have their own little stickers or slaps and stuff. And I want to make mine and trade with people and stuff like that. So once I have that ready, I'll do this switch over, I think.
Okay, well, if you are doing the stickers, I want to be first called dibs on trading stickers, because I'm designing a sticker as well. And that was actually going to be one of the news I was going to reveal later on. The design is not yet finalized, but it is something that I am working on as well.
You guys heard it here first.
Yeah, you guys heard it here first. We are going to trade. We're gonna have a vid of me opening that sticker, because like most likely I'm going to have to mail it to you because of lockdown still. But that is awesome. So guys, check them out on Instagram. Follow Skyers that way. Again, M Skyers, double Z, Instagram handle down below on that. Okay, so we are approaching near the end of the feature here. How do you feel? How did that go?
I'm really happy that you like reached out to me. I only recently found out about Side 6, and like I was following a lot of American YouTubers and clubs. Yeah. And I was like, hey, man, I should just look and see what's around Canada and see if there's anything around here. And I found Side 6. And like, I love that you guys are partnered with some Canadian companies.
Absolutely.
And so I started, what is it?
MSMN, yep. Jonathan out there, really good guy.
They have some kits that I've been looking for forever. And the prices I feel are fair. And I'm like, this is great.
Nice.
And you know, I was watching a lot of U.S. companies talk about P Bandai USA and how that popped up there. And they were talking about it's because people are buying local that Bandai sees the numbers for the country and they're like, okay, we can do a P Bandai there. So it's really great that you know Side 6 is partnered with Canadian companies that sell Gunpla so that we can get our numbers up here and hopefully have our own P Bandai.
Absolutely. And again, thank you for accepting the invite to the show. More builders like Skyers here is something that I want to actively pursue in the next coming shows. Just to show like the passion, the dedication, the creativity of many modelers out there that I believe could use a little bit of a spotlight and shine. And again, thank you very much, Skyers, for joining us. We will talk more. Yeah, we will talk more after the show, just to catch up on things. But that's it. So anyways, Skyers, thank you very much. We will chat with you later on.
All right. See ya, everybody.
All right. So that is episode 6 with our guest, Mike Skyers. Again, follow him on Instagram when you get a chance. Lots of more work on his Instagram. I just want to let you guys know that this show is powered by USA Gundam Store. Visit www.usagundamstore.com and use discount code AOMecha10 to receive some discount for your purchases. The next show for AOMecha Live will be on Monday at 9 p.m. EST with a brand new build session. I cannot wait to show you guys what I'm going to build next, and hopefully you guys can join in then. This video will also be uploaded to YouTube for archiving and future shows. And again, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button to help me out grow the video and content. Feel free to write me any type of comments and feedbacks, either from my social media accounts at AO_Mecha, or reach me on my email, aomecha.info@gmail.com. Okay, that is it. That is a wrap for episode 6. Hope to see you guys next time on episode 7. Till then, take care. Have a good one.